You've taken preparedness seriously. You've stocked supplies, made plans, and maybe even practiced a few drills. But the people closest to you, they think you're overreacting. Whether it's your spouse, your kids, your parents, or your friends, getting others on board with prepping can feel like the hardest part. In today's video, we're going to break it down by relationship type and walk through specific practical ways to bring each group along without pushing them away or turning it into a debate. Let's get started. Getting your spouse on board can be tough, especially if they think prepping is unnecessary or over the top. You might be all in, thinking about supplies, gear, and plans, while they roll their eyes or just tune it out. Some spouses are already there with you, fully supportive and maybe even more into it than you are. But for others, it can feel like you're dragging them along, step by step, trying to get them to take it seriously. Start with simple, honest questions like, what would we do if we lost power for a week? Or what if we lost our jobs for a while? Questions like these don't come across as lectures. They open the door for a conversation. You're not trying to scare them into prepping, you're inviting them to think through real life situations that could affect both of you. Bring up recent events that hit close to home. Things like supply shortages, blackouts, wildfires, or unexpected job loss. These aren't hypotheticals or worst case scenarios. They actually happened and they affected real people. Use those moments to show how even a little bit of preparation could have made life easier. When your spouse sees how prepping reduces stress during chaos, it starts to feel a lot more reasonable. If they're unsure or not interested, don't turn it into a fight. Just get started without making a big deal out of it. Stock a little extra food each week, build out a basic emergency kit, or quietly organize your vehicle supplies. Focus on practical everyday things they'll notice, like having backup batteries during a power outage or avoiding last-minute grocery runs. When they see how useful it is in real life, they're more likely to come around. Frame prepping is a way to protect everything you've built together, your home, your finances, and your peace of mind. It's not about living in fear or expecting the worst. It's about being ready for whatever life throws at you. Talk about how prepping isn't just gear and supplies, it's learning useful hands-on skills you can both use. From budgeting smarter to handling power outages or first aid, these are just things that make life easier, no matter what's going on in the world. Kids don't need to be shielded from prepping. They adapt to whatever environment they're raised in. If you treat preparedness like a normal part of life, they will too. The goal isn't to scare them, it's to bring them in and make it second nature. Kids aren't naturally afraid of this stuff. They learn by watching how you handle it. Keep things calm, practical, and hands-on. Show them how to filter water, check a flashlight, or use a fire extinguisher. Focus on teaching useful skills and make it a part of normal life. The goal is to build their confidence, not their anxiety. Use games, mock scenarios, or camping trips to teach them preparedness in a way that feels like play. They'll learn without even realizing it. Birthdays and holidays are great opportunities to work in gear like walkie-talkies, binoculars, or survival tools without making it feel like a lesson. Take them camping, show them how to build a fire, cook over it, and purify water. When preparedness is part of adventure, they naturally buy into it. Let them pack their own go bags or be in charge of checking flashlights. Even something as simple as keeping a flashlight in their dresser gives them a small job they can take pride in. When kids feel trusted with responsibility, even on a small scale, they take it more seriously and start to see prepping as part of their role in the family. The more they practice, the more confident and capable they become. That sense of control replaces fear, especially when they realize they know what to do in a tough situation. It's not about turning them into little survivalists, it's about helping them feel ready instead of helpless. Confidence is a core part of prepping, and it starts young. Convincing your parents could go either way. Some might be naturally cautious and open to the idea, while others think prepping is unnecessary or overly dramatic. Their reaction usually depends on their past experiences and how they view the world today. Older generations often value frugality, hard work, and self-reliance. They've lived through tough times and may do with less, but they might not connect those values to the same kind of prepping we talk about today. To them, storing food and supplies might feel excessive, even if they've done similar things under a different name. Don't try to rebrand their lifestyle, just show how what you're doing lines up with what they've always believed in. Bring up situations they've actually lived through. Lockdowns, inflation, supply chain issues, or extreme weather. These aren't abstract ideas or distant headlines. They're personal experiences. Use them as natural entry points for conversations about preparedness. When you connect prepping to things they've already dealt with, it becomes a lot more relatable and harder to dismiss. Tell them you want to include them in your emergency plan. Not because they can't handle things, but because you care about them. Offer to help put together a basic kit, stock a few essentials, or talk through what they need in a short-term emergency. Keep it low pressure. It's easier for them to accept your help when it doesn't feel like they're being judged or told they've been doing it wrong. Encourage simple, low-effort steps like keeping a few extra days worth of medication on hand or picking up a small backup power source. These aren't extreme moves, they're just common sense precautions. When you frame it this way, it doesn't feel like a lifestyle overhaul. It feels like smart planning and it opens the door for bigger conversations later. When it comes to siblings, it usually comes down to shared memories, inside jokes, and the kind of trust that only comes from growing up together. That connection makes it easier to bring up prepping in a way that feels natural and not preachy. Don't make prepping a big announcement or some serious pitch. Just bring it up naturally during regular conversations. Maybe when talking about rising prices, a storm that's coming, or something that happened in the news. Keep your tone relaxed. When it feels like just another part of life, they're less likely to resist and more likely to ask questions on their own. Bring up specific situations you both went through. Power outages, frozen pipes, evacuations, or money being tight. Say things like, remember when the pipes froze and we didn't have heat for 2 days? Or that time we had to boil water for a week? These aren't arguments, they're reminders. When you point to real memories, it becomes obvious why being better prepared makes sense. Sometimes the best way to spark interest is to show, not tell. Give them a car kit as a gift, or walk them through your setup when they visit. Let them borrow gear, tools, or backup supplies when they need something. Keep it practical and low-key. When they see how useful it is in real life, they're more likely to start thinking about how to get set up themselves. If they roll their eyes or make fun of it, don't take the bait. You're not trying to win an argument, you're building something that matters. Just keep doing your thing quietly and consistently. Over time, real-world events have a way of changing minds more effectively than any back and forth ever could. Friends are often the hardest group to convince early on. They're usually less connected to your daily life, and if they haven't faced a wake-up call themselves, prepping might sound unnecessary. But they're also the most likely to circle back later, especially when things start to get shaky and they remember that you were already a few steps ahead. Don't try to push prepping into every conversation. Let it come up when something in the news or in your lives makes it relevant. A storm, an outage, prices going up, or shelves going empty. These moments speak for themselves. When your friends are already feeling uneasy, it's easier for them to hear you out without getting defensive. Focus on situations that actually happen. Job loss, blackouts, weather emergencies, or even rising prices. These are things your friends can relate to because they've probably experienced it themselves. Skip the collapse talk for now. If you keep it grounded in everyday problems, it doesn't come off as extreme, it comes off as smart. If someone says, "I'll just come to your house," be direct. You're not prepping to be a backup plan for everyone who didn't take it seriously. You're not being selfish, you just have to be realistic. You can offer to help them get started, give advice, or even point them towards resources, but make it clear, if they want to be part of your plan, they need to have one of their own. Don't try to convince them with arguments or debates. Just keep living the lifestyle. Keep prepping, stay consistent, and handle disruptions calmly when they happen. That's what people will remember. Not the guy lecturing, but the one who had extra food, backup power, or a plan when everything went sideways. When reality hits, they'll think back to you and start asking how they can get started. Getting people on board with prepping isn't about scaring them into submission. It's about planting seeds, building trust, and letting your actions speak louder than words. Every relationship requires a slightly different approach, but the goal is the same: helping the people you care about get ready. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Join the Texan Prepper community by hitting that subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. Keep an eye out every week for another video on emergency preparedness. Stay safe, keep prepping, and I'll see you on the next one.